What is up, YouTube? It's Lindsay here again. Most, if not all of you, are here because you watched my plasma fibroblasting experience video. This is a follow-up to that video. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. It's a good one. I talk all about my experience with plasma fibroblasting. I went through the whole process. I've got videos. I've got my Instagram stories from, the healing process. So if you want to know that, go back, watch that video. Hi, by way of introduction, again, my name is Lindsay, and I'm really excited that so many of you found that video helpful. It's kind of cool to see. It's got a lot of views, so it must have been helpful. So I thought I'd do a follow-up of that video to answer some of the most common questions I was getting in the comments. If you weren't able to see those or keep up with those comments, thought it might be helpful. So number one question I was getting was, how much did it cost? And the cost of it for me in my area, I'm from southern Utah, just like a couple hours outside of Vegas. The girl who did mine, it was my cousin who did it for me. And so it costs, and she charges here in our area, $400. So that was $400 just for the eyelids and like the brow lift. $400 for that, which according to some of your comments is pretty affordable compared to other parts of the country. The next question that I was getting a lot was like about the healing process, like when the little scabs fell off, if you needed to use sunscreen. So I tried to go through and answer all of those questions. As you can see, I got mine done in February. It's now August, so it's been, 9 months. And so I thought we'd just do kind of a little update. I don't have any eye makeup on right now, so I thought that would be helpful for you guys to kind of see. My last video, I titled it Hooded Eyes No More, because I was kind of like wondering if this would like totally get rid of my hooded eyes, which as an update, I must say, no. I still have hooded eyelids. However, I saw a picture of myself from last summer and I was like, hold up, what? And like, I'm kind of blown away with how much better my eyelids look. Like that skin up here is like not as wrinkly. When I completely relax, you can see that I still have my hooded lids. However, before you couldn't even like see any part of my lower lid at all. I do feel that like my lids are just smoother. Like, especially if you look back at that picture, like it's just like not as like wrinkly. I feel like my eyelids look younger. I did too want to just say thank you guys so much for watching that video. And also I kind of want to know like who you guys are. I am new to YouTube. I use YouTube a lot, but I don't create content here, obviously. Most of my content that I create is for Instagram. So if you want to follow me over there on Instagram, I would love that. My handle is @LindsDiddy. And so I'd love if you guys would follow me over there. I want to know who you guys are, and here on YouTube it's a little bit more anonymous than it is like on Instagram. So I would love if you would follow me over there, and I would love if you would tell me a little bit about yourself here in the comments. That would be great. So the other thing that I wanted to do with this video today was kind of talk a little bit about, well, first of all, I wanted to ask you guys if you think I need to go get another treatment. I'm like kind of at that point where I'm like considering it. It's kind of funny because my initial reaction to that thought is like, ooh, no, I don't want to, I don't want to do it again. I don't know if I should say that, but that's just like my gut reaction is like, ooh, I don't want to do it again. Because even though it was like, it was fine, but it was a little bit tender. And as I said in my last video, my pain tolerance is really low. And so like the thought of like going through that like sizzle fest, like I don't know if I want to do it again. I was really pleased and happy with the results, but I'm like, dang, like do I want to do it again? And is it going to give me like more results? That's kind of where I'm at on this journey, and I wanted to put out another video for those of you who are watching, because I know that not all of you have gone to get the plasma fibroblasting done, for sure. And so I thought that maybe it would be helpful if I did a video on some like do's and don'ts of eyeshadow for hooded eyes, because a lot of you probably have hooded eyes. If you watch my video, you're interested and getting some plasma fibroblasting done. Maybe some of you haven't had it because it's way more expensive everywhere else. So I thought it might be a little bit helpful if I did that today. So I'm gonna jump right into some eyeshadow. The eyeshadow that I'm going to be using today is from this mascara palette. This is like the only makeup that I use is mascara brand. I'm obsessed with it, and it's amazing because it all comes in its own little tins. So as you can see, I have a beautiful assortment of colors here. And all of these little eyeshadows come in their own individual tins. So you can just buy these individually, which is amazing because you can literally create your own palette. I don't know about you, but I have definitely bought eyeshadow palettes before, and I use like 4 of the colors, and then the rest I never ever touch. So it's so convenient to be able to have the option of like literally creating your own custom palette, which is really fun. So that's what I'm gonna be using today. I'm using all these shadows. Well, not all of them. That would be extra. First, I'm just going to start off here. I have been using this. So this is a new product here. This is a cream eyeshadow. It's such a pretty like shimmery sheer color, a really good base. So I am just going to start off with that. It does give like my powder eyeshadow something to stick to. So over here on this side, we're gonna do a good eye and a bad eye. I'm just going to take a little bit of this color right here. This is called Rome. I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any creases here, and then I'm just gonna set over top of this with that powder. Okay, and then over here on our bad eye, I am not going to use any kind of primer or anything, so you can kind of see the difference that makes. But I am going to be using the same colors on both eyes, and you're going to be blown away at like the difference these techniques over here on this good eye are going to make for your hooded eyes. I think I'm going to go with this one. So this is called Leo. I love, love, love this color. It's like such a pretty earthy orange, and I mix it with pretty much everything in a really good smooth transition shade. Really, it makes everything look good. I'll start with our bad eye over here, but I am going to, and this is what I used to do all the time with my eyeshadow, and I'm like, why is my eyeshadow not showing up at all when I do this? So I was always going, and I'm like, okay, hey yo, we're just gonna wash this all over the place on this side. You can see this is a really pretty color though. With your hooded eyes, you actually don't want to do like a whole wash of color over here, at least for me and my eye shape. This doesn't look great on me. But when I relax my eye, you can see that most of my eyeshadow like completely disappears. The other thing that kind of happens too, when you're going like right in your crease here, kind of messily, with hooded eyes, you don't want to get any eyeshadow like below this line. And when I'm just like going in here like crazy, and like swiping this around, what happens is I kind of get like a funky deposit of eyeshadow over here. You can kind of see like that, and what that does is it just like makes my eye look more droopy. So over here on our good side, we are going to, so I'm just gonna keep this transition shade in the outer corner, and I'm bringing it way up here, and I'm not going any lower than this line, so I almost like stop right here and then kind of swipe this. See, when I put that shadow up a little bit higher, we're getting a nice lift over here. And what I have found is that if I keep this inner corner really light and bright, it makes my eyes look way more open. Our next color that we're gonna take is this beautiful shade here. This is called Bubba, and it is a great like warm matte brown. This is also a really great transition shade too that you can mix with a ton of other things. Over here on our bad side, I'm just gonna go all crazy right in my natural crease. My eye starts looking like kind of droopy and downturned a little bit. I'm gonna take a little bit of that brown, and we're gonna put this over here. And I'm staying out this way, and I'm keeping this really lifted. What I do is I'm just going to take kind of both of those colors that I used before, and I'm just going to blend them up this way. And I'm like really exaggerating and coming up this way. On this bad side, I'm going to actually drag this. So if I drag my eyeshadow all the way to this inner corner, you can see over here I was really keeping this lifted and like right out, just only in like the outer third. If I take this eyeshadow and drag it all the way over here, you're going to see it's going to look extra smoky, And you can already see, like, can you see how my eye is being, like, drugged down, whereas over here on this side where I just kept it on the outer corner, it's looking really lifted. And you can see also, like, we're getting, like, this weird, I don't even know what's happening, honestly. It looks like, I don't know. All right, here we go. Next. So I'm gonna use this color. This is called Zion. Over here on this bad side is, I was like, oh, I gotta fill in that outer V. And so I was doing that outer V like here. I was doing my upper lash line, my lower lash line. So now what I do with my V is the points of my V are actually not here, here, and here, but they are here, here, and here. So like up way higher. And then I'm gonna take this fluffy end. We're gonna add a little bit more of this color because it's so pretty. You can see that's looking really pretty over here on this side. So again, if we were on this side and I was going in my real crease, as opposed to like the crease I'm trying to create above my hood, this one just looks really messy and droopy weird. Next thing we're gonna do here is I am going to take a little bit of a shimmery eyeshadow. Here it is called Sabrina. And I'm just taking it on my finger because it's gonna give me a lot of pigment. And I am really brightening up this inner corner. Okay, and I'm gonna use that same color over here on this side, but this is what was always happening is I was putting this on here and then it was just looking muddy. One more color that I'm going to use here is this one. It's called You Completely. It's like such a pretty coppery shade, and I am going to use it right now. Over here on the good side, we're gonna put a little bit right here, and then over here on this side, we're gonna do the same thing, but again, this side is just looking more muddy and more droopy, and also most of it is going to disappear because I didn't put it up high enough. Next thing we're gonna do over here on our bad side, and this is something I was always like super confused about because I'm like, why can people do like these crazy like thick liners and it looks totally good? Well, people who have a ton of lid space or don't have hooded eyes can do a thick liner, but for those of us who do have hooded eyelids, if I fill in, and I'm just gonna show you. So besides the fact that I'm terrible at eyeliner, you can still kind of get the gist because when I relax, you can see that the only lid space that you could see on my eye is now filled in completely. Whereas over here on this side, you can still see that lid space. Are you seeing the difference here? So this is a big no-no with the eyeshadow and with liner. I have just taken a little bit of water. I have this angle brush too. I will link to these brushes because they are amazing. We're just gonna do a little bit of a tight line over here. Hopefully y'all can see. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a difference in the shape of my eye. Oh, I want to show you one other thing too. Okay, don't do this. If you have a hooded eye and you're like, oh, I want to highlight my brow bone. Well, guess what? You don't really have a lot of brow bone, to be honest. So if I go over here and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to highlight under my brow bone. All that does is accentuates the hood because I don't have like that. I don't have a lot of eyebrow bone. So over here you can see I've kept this space really light, but it's really thin. It's a really thin line right there. So you can see that's all really nice and bright right there. Are we seeing the difference here? Like, all that does is accentuate that area. So you got to keep that super thin. Let me look down so you can see. See, here's the other problem with like doing that super thick liner over there is you can't even see my eyelashes at all. Whereas like over here, if I keep this really light and bright, then it's like, oh, look, you have pretty lashes. There is that, some do's and don'ts for hooded eye. Hopefully you can kind of see the difference a little bit. Thanks so much for watching. Hope this was helpful.